You can call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
Ion Cutelaba takes on Ibo Aslan this Saturday on the UFC Fight Night Seattle, Washington card. And this is a fun fight at 205 pounds. Ion Cutelaba been around the UFC for a long time. Kind of a 50-50 fighter in the UFC since he started his career there back in 2016. So win, loss, win a few, lose several. Coming off of a win over Ion Aslan back in September, so getting back in there about 6 months after, which is good to see. Not taking a lot of time off, but he's 18-10-1. Not the best record, but he's been fighting really good guys at 205. I'll run through that here in a sec, but 31 years old, so kind of in his prime, not really there yet. A lot still to see from him. 6'1", 75-inch reach. Comes from a Sambo background. I believe he's from Moldova, but good wrestling, good takedowns, mixes up his strikes well with it. Good kicks, good front kicks to the body. Very powerful on the feet. Not the most technical guy, sometimes more of a brawler, but always dangerous. He's one of those kill or be killed type of guys in the UFC where he's either going to put you out or you're going to put him out. At least that's how he was in the beginning. As of late, in his last few fights, especially the last one against Ion Aslan, he looked a little bit more composed, a little bit more patient than we're used to seeing him. So in the past, he would kind of wade in with punches, rush in, not be the most technical, rely on his chin, which holds up for the most part. But in his last fight that he won by split decision over Ion Aslan, did a really good job on the feet, staying patient, like I said, mixing up his takedowns to get the win. The fight before that, he got his leg really beat up by Felipe Lins, which really kind of affected his stand-up and his wrestling defense. Plus, fighting a guy like Felipe Lins coming down from heavyweight, he was a pretty big dude who's really well-rounded. So before that, beat Tanner Bozier, knocked him down, and TKO'd him on the ground. So a lot of experience. Before that, fought Kennedy Nzechukwu, Johnny Walker, Ryan Spann. Lost all of those fights, but Dustin Jacoby, Ankalaev fought him twice. Khalil Roundtree beat him. Lost to Glover Teixeira, Jared Cannonier, Misha Serkinov. So, a lot of these guys at 205, you name it, Ion Cutelaba's fought them, and looks like more than likely lost to the better ones. But had some good performances in there too. Devin Clark, Khalil Roundtree, who just fought for the belt, so might not have always gone his way, but getting a lot of high-level experience. That's not something that I can say for his opponent, Ibo Aslan. More of a striker, fights out of Turkey. Big guy for the division, 6'3", 77.5 reach. So he's going to have a 2.5-inch reach advantage, 2-inch height advantage. 28 years old. Coming off of a win over Rafael Cerqueira. Before that was an Anton Turkali overhand right win in the third round. And then before that, Apollo Renato Jr. win. But I looked through this guy's record, and he to get onto the Contender Series, beat a guy who's 5-9, who's now 5-12, I believe, 18-21, 6-7, lost to Anton Turkali, who was undefeated 5-0. Before that, won an 8-14, 4-0, 1-2, 0-0, not available, 0-7, 0-0. So his only notable wins before his last performance were Anton Turkali, who I think is good. Do I think he's the best in the world? No. Definitely not elite in the UFC, on a 4-fight losing streak in the UFC as we speak. But even the guy he beat in the Contender Series, Paulo Renato Jr., he fought a bunch of cans to get there too. So I don't think he belongs there either. Beat a 6-5 guy, before that a 20-25 guy, 6-14, 0-0, 6-10. So I don't think that Ibo Aslan has sniffed the competition that Ion Cutelaba has. And even in his last fight against Rafael Cerqueira, he barely landed a jab, left hook, whatever you want to call it, stumbled the guy backed up against the cage and just put his hands up and got standing TKO'd. The fight before that against Anton Turkali, I don't think he looked that good in that fight either. Very competitive. He got tired after the second round. Third round, I felt like Turkali, however you want to say his name, was eventually taken over because he was just gassed after the first round, and he ended up landing a hard right hand to put Turkali out. But I just don't think he's proven himself. I think he's fought a lot of not very good guys. had a lot of very good matchups, I would say, strikers with holes in their games. I think Ion Cutelaba, I think he's going to put a lot of pressure on Ibo Aslan. He's not going to fold like a lot of these other guys have against Aslan. He's going to mix up his takedowns. He's got a really good wrestling. Throws really hard punches to kind of open up his takedowns. So and has a submission game. So I think Ion Cutelaba, I just think he's tougher than this dude. Ion Cutelaba's got a really good chin, able to push a high pace, stay in your face. He's not ever really going to back down. We saw in his last fight against Felipe Lins, he had his leg, borderline kicked off, and he was still pushing forward, looking to finish the fight. So Ibo Aslan's never fought somebody like Ion Cutelaba, and I think Cutelaba's going to bring it and kind of fraud check this guy, who's what is he now? He's 14-1. Hasn't shown any real ground game, really had to go there, and I think Cutelaba's gonna at least threaten that. And if he can't get his takedowns, it'll open up his strikes. But I think he can go tit for tat with him in the strength and power department. He might be a little bit bigger than Cutelaba, but Cutelaba's definitely fought guys his size and bigger in his career, and I think he's fought just guys that are, so much better than an Ibo Aslan in the UFC. This won't be anything new. Aslan's not going to bring anything that he hasn't seen before. So I like the way that, like I said, Cutelaba, how he's being a little bit more patient with his approach. I feel like he's maturing, so to speak, in his game. And again, he's been in the UFC for almost 9 years now. Fought the who's who. So I think he gets this one done. I think he finishes Aslan. Aslan gassed in his last fight. Not in his last fight. He gassed in his fight against Anton Turkali, and I feel like if he gasses and shows that in his fight against Cutelaba's going to beat the brakes off of him. Either knock him out on the feet or just take him down and grind him out. So I'm going to go with Cutelaba. Odds are minus 135 for Cutelaba. Or sorry, minus 135 for Aslan and plus 115 for Cutelaba. So I think this is a good underdog pick for Cutelaba to kind of fraud check this guy who's got a really good record, but still pretty young in his career and unproven at this point. So let me know what you guys think, and appreciate you watching.